Hello everybody, hope you are taking good care of yourself. I'm Tripti Karwal. I'm representing the physio counselors, and today we are conducting recording a session for the HCL employees. It's called the Home Office Wellbeing as per the request from them. And the aim of the session is to understand postures and positions and self-management as we all work from home during this COVID time. So let's begin with the session. Behind me you can see the screen. Okay, so the first slide that I put is representing that yes, we are all going to get old and we are all going to get aged. And as we get mature, each day there will be changes in our body, functionality and quality of life. So yes, we will all get old. All our lives we are working either at home or we are working at office. We are running 24/7. We are busy with many household work, office work and we are multitasking every day. So that's how our routines are. And we are busy eating our favorite food. I'm personally from India and I really like to eat a lot. We all our lives we prefer eating without taking consideration of what we do next. So, this is our daily routines. And we sit with our family, we sit in an odd postures, we don't realize how we move, how we sit, how we read. So this is all we are. So this is how we are, and we don't realize how our body postures are during the day. And thanks to the new normal year 2020 has given us, due to the COVID pandemic, we are working from home most of the time. And again, we don't realize how we are working constantly. Our postures are changing. We are again multitasking. We switch, we switch from various postures, and we do not maintain a right position and postures for our body. So the new normal, we work from home. And as a result, we land up into several problems, and if I would cluster them, I would say that they are neuromusculoskeletal problems or pain that one can feel because of such postures or household and work schedules. So neuromusculoskeletal problems is something that one can face because of them. Let's have a detailed description about what they are. So, neuro means related to our nerves. When suppose there is I give you an example that there is a pain in the neck, and sometimes there is tingling or traveling pain in the arm. That's a neural pain. Or maybe a back pain which can radiate from back to the legs. So it is classified under the neural problem. And muscular problem would be something which is related due to the weakness of the muscles in our body. And skeletal problem is when there is an injury to the bone and a bone is damaged or there is weakness of any particular bone. So because of poor postures, one can land up into these kind of problems. And ultimately, there can be very common pains one can feel is a back pain or a neck pain. Before going into details, let's understand a little bit about human spine. So the human spine is made up of two major components. One is the bony component and the other is the muscular component. So the bony component, if you can see here, the human spine is basically an S-shaped curvature, okay, and it is supposed to take up 30% of our body weight, and whereas the muscles in our body is supposed to take up 70% of the body weight. So in cases where the muscles go weak, then the load is shared more by the bones, and between the bones you can see that there are the translucent structure, which is a jelly-like structure called a disc. You can also see here on the model, these are the bones, whereas these middle structures are the disc. They are jelly-like structures, and if one moves forward, the bones are compressed and the disc moves backward. Okay, so all I want to say here is, if there is a muscular weakness or muscular problem, one can have load bearing on the spine, and it can lead to further injuries to back, maybe a disc problem or a neural problem. So what are the leading symptoms of a back pain or a neck pain? In all mechanical pain, they are localized or sharp pain. There can be a persistent ache or stiffness in back or neck. There can be chronic pains after working for long hours. Any chronic pain is defined as pain which is more than 7 weeks. There can be a radiating pain, as I mentioned earlier also, from neck to the arms and from back to the legs. Now let's come to the common causes of why these mechanical pains are developed. The most common cause is a bad posture. Again, I told you that the human spine is an S-shaped curvature, but if we do not maintain that right posture and suppose we bend too much, the spine S is converted into a C-shaped posture. As a result, there can be several compression to the disc and several injury over a period of time. So a bad posture can lead to a chronic pain or back injury. The next common cause is the faulty body mechanics. Suppose it is categorized as when we move in a bad way or mechanically. Say if we are playing a sports and we don't realize which is the right direction or which is the right movement, and we tend to make our body mechanics wrong. So it is the common cause of the mechanical pain. The next common cause is stress and obesity. Obesity again, because the more you load your body, the more overloading of the muscles will take place, and then you will have pain again in your spine. Stress, because pain is never just physical, it can be a psychological pain also. If you have too much tension about something, then stress can aggravate these mechanical pains. The next cause that I've classified is the loss of strength and flexibility. Obviously, if you do not have that accurate muscle strength in your body, then the other structures, which are the bony structures, are supposed to take more load in the spine, and the discs are getting more compromised. One can develop spinal pain or back pain. Flexibility, because of inability to lengthen a muscle, one can develop tightness in the body. As a result, some other joints are compromised. For example, if someone is having a very tight hamstrings, then there can be changes in the pelvic bone. As a result, one can develop back pain or a knee pain. So these are the common causes of developing a mechanical pain. The other cause is an injury. Obviously, if there is a direct injury to this bone or to the back, it results into a mechanical pain. Now, we have talked about the symptoms, we have talked about the causes. Let's come to the conclusion of how we can prevent it. So, prevention of mechanical pain, one needs to identify which is a right posture and which is a poor posture. So here I have with me two positions which are not correct or are classified as poor postures, because the center of line, the line of center of gravity is not following through the center of the body but is actually fluctuating. So here in the first picture, if you see someone who is working too long on the computer or reading, they tend to develop a forward head posture or a protruded head. As a result, the shoulders get round and there can be flattening of the back, which leads to weakness of the glute muscles and tightness in the front muscles. So again, this is a flat back posture which is not right. The second posture which is classified as poor is again when someone has body weight shifted towards their heels rather than having proper weight on the foot, then they shift their pelvis forward as a result of weakness of front muscles and tightness of back muscles. So that's called a sway back posture. So one should be mindful of what other kind of postures they have, or they know other people have, so should prevent them. Now, what are the postures while sitting? So if you see the first picture, the person is the hips are not touching behind the hips are not touching behind the chair, so it's not a right position, because again the spinal curve, which is supposed to be an S-shaped curve, is changed into a C-shaped position. Again, this picture, the curve, the spine is not supported with the back of the chair and the hips are also not supported, and the curve is changed to an C-shaped curve. But in this picture, you can see that there is a roll supported behind the lower back and the person is able to maintain their spine. And in this position here, a person is sitting on a wedge pillow, or maybe in a position where just the hips are up. So in order to erect the spine, I can demonstrate these positions. I have a model. Yeah. So a easy way to maintain the spine position is by using a lumbar roll or a lumbar support, which one can easily get from market. Another very easy way that you can use at home is just to roll up a towel and place some rubber bands to make a roll, and then you can place behind the lower back and ask the person to move the hips behind when they sit, so that they are sitting in a nice and erect position. Okay, feet should be supported at 90-degree angle, hip and knee at a 90-degree angle, back straight, neck straight. Okay, so that's how the spine should be when someone is sitting on a chair. Another thing that one can do is just to raise the hips with the help of some cushions or a wedge pillow, as shown in the second position. Okay. So the roll I was talking about while sitting, it can be used behind the lower back in the curvature, in the arching in the lower back to support the spine. This helps to reduce the pressure on the disc, and it positions the spine correctly, and again it distributes the weight effectively throughout the spine, and one can use a towel roll instead. Now, what are the postures while lifting an object? Anytime when someone is lifting a heavy object, it should be closer to the body. It should not be too far, because then the body center of gravity will move, and one should not bend from a round back and then reach and pick up heavy object. One must bend down in a 90-90 position at the knees and then lift the object close to the body. Okay, so that's the right way, as shown in the second picture. While sleeping, one must use a pillow where the spine is in line with the body. The neck should not be tilted backwards or forwards if the height of the pillow is not appropriate. Suppose if the pillow is too thick, one will be in a bent position all throughout the night. If the pillow is too thin, the neck will be hanging down. Similarly, when sleeping on the side, the thickness of the pillow should be, the distance between your ear and your shoulder. So that the neck is neither bent down or it is too much bent on the other side. In all, the spine should be neutral. While sleeping on the sides, it is important that one can place a small pillow or a support between the two legs, so that there is less strain on the hip muscles and it is not falling down entire sleep. So that's the right position. The next thing is postures while you are working on the laptop. It is very easy these days to just get into a bed and start working. It's an easy and lazy way, but it is not the right way. One should sit on a proper chair with feet supported, hands supported, and then the laptop or the screen should be at eye level. It should neither be too high or too low, so that the neck angle is changed. Because one has to work for long hours, then it can strain the neck easily. When someone is at office, it is important that you can change your position from sitting to a standing position, and the feet can be supported on a small stool, so that you can just change your body weight after some minutes and then you can work appropriately. Also, it is important that the neck, the eye level, the screen should be at the level of your eyes. The first line of the laptop should be at your eye level. Okay, it should be neither too high or neither too low. Okay, and the shoulders should be at a 90 degree, elbows should be 90 degree, wrist in neutral position. Okay, neither too extended upwards or downwards. Okay, it should be in neutral position. One can even place a soft mat to distribute the foot weight and the body weight. Again, in sitting, the monitor should be adjusted in a way that the first line on the laptop is at the eye level, and one can see from a virtual height of 0 to 30 degree. Shoulders and elbows should be properly supported. Back, hips are touching the behind of the chair. Hips and knees 90 degree bend. Feet properly supported. There should be ample amount of space for the thighs and leg to move. Okay, and yes, your elbows should be properly rested. That is the right way. Now, to adjust your desktop, there are several things that one can do. One can place some object under the laptop so that the desktop height is adjusted to the eye level. So maybe a small box or a stack of books. And then there are several docking stations available in the market. You can choose appropriately according to your height. You would require an external keyboard and a mouse to operate when you're using a docking station. So do that. There are various kind of fancy mouse available. One can choose whichever is suitable. So there is a vertical roller mouse or a split board mouse, and there is one with a foot control, and this is a roller mouse. So whichever is suitable, one can use that. Now, when someone is working for long hours, it is also important to break your neck posture and give relaxation to your eyes. For that, there is a rule called 20-20-20. This means that for every 20 minutes, one must look away to an object which is 20 feet high for 20 seconds. So if you're working on laptop, say you put an alarm, after 20 minutes, You look at an object which is 20 feet high for 20 seconds so that you do not strain your eyes for too long. Now let's come to the ideal sitting position. The ideal sitting angle is less than 70, 90 degree or 110. So any angle less than 70 is not correct, but because again your spine is in a bent position. At 90 degree, not correct, because again after some time you might strain up your back. But at an angle of 110, your back muscles are completely relaxed and they are fully supported on the backrest, so you won't feel that strain in your spine, and you wouldn't require, that's the correct position of sitting. Now the proper wrist position that I spoke about, it should neither be bent upwards when you operate the keyboard, neither be bent downwards, neither be deviated sideways. So it should be in a neutral position. Now when someone is driving, the correct position is that again the spine should not go for a C curvature. It should maintain its proper S curvature. One can use a lumbar support behind the back, and one can elevate the hip angle using some wedge pillow or a towel roll. Coming to the postures while cycling, it is important that one maintain a flat back position, and the angle of the shoulders is at 90 degree to the back. Also the hip angle to the back should be 90 degree. The back should maintain a 45 degree angle with the horizontal. One must not go for a slouch position or a round back position during cycling. Now how we can change all these wrong positions? So there are some common tips that one can follow. The simple tip is to break your posture. One must break their postures after every 30 minutes. So if you are sitting on a laptop, kindly put an alarm or have some sticky note that you should change your position after every 30 minutes. So if you're sitting, try to stand. If you're standing, try to sit or move to the other chairs. Okay, and never ever sit on a wallet. If you're sitting with wallet under your hips, then your spine tends to deviate and there is unequal loading to the spine. As a result, if you're constantly sitting on that wallet, there can be compression to your nerve, that's called the sciatic nerve under the hips, and it can affect the muscles in the foot and the leg. So never ever sit in the wallet. The next precaution that one has to take is to take frequent breaks while they're sitting and do stretching. So one can stretch forward for 15-20 seconds, one can stretch upwards, they can bend sideways, okay, and they can bend backwards. So these are the simple tips that one can do for 15 to 20 seconds. The next exercise that one can do while they are in sitting position is a slouch over correct. Now in this exercise one should go for a back position, okay? Go for a complete slouch with the neck looking forward, okay? So slouch and then over correct, where I'm over correcting my spine curve. So slouch and over correct. So suppose if you are in a meeting and you cannot get up after every 30 minutes, it is better that you break your position by just doing slouching and over correcting. So do this 10 times and then relax your spine in the neutral position. Neither overcorrect, neither slouching. Okay? But make sure that the neck is facing forward. It is not going like this or this. This is not the correct way. Correct way is slouch, overcorrect and neutral. Okay? So 10 to 20 repetitions, 2 to 3 times a day will give mobility to the lower back, and hence It will allow nutrition to the spine. The next functional thing that one can do is spinal rotation when they're sitting on a chair. So, suppose I'm sitting in a chair and I keep one arm fixed so that this shoulder is stabilized, and I then turn towards one side, so I can feel a nice stretch over this portion and a nice opening on the rib cage, and then I can turn towards the other side. Okay, so that's the spinal rotation that I can do for 10 repetitions, and I can give it a 10-second hold also. Because one is working constantly on a laptop or keyboard, they need relaxation by stretching the forearm muscles. So one can do stretches for the forearm. One can stretch the back portion of the forearm by maintaining this stretch for 20 seconds. And the other way to do is stretching the lower portion of the arm and like this. So these stretches should be maintained 20 to 30 seconds and can be done 2 to 3 times on the in a day. So suppose someone is having discomfort in the spine and they are bound to sit for long hours, they can do backward extension exercise in standing position. This is quite simple. One can place their hands behind the hip and bend backwards. Make sure the neck is in line with your spine. It is not going like this. It should be in line with your spine. So just bend backwards and normal. Okay. Again, a mobility exercise for the upper back and a stretching exercise for the upper back is in sitting position. One can keep their arms, one can keep their hands behind the neck and looking upwards towards the ceiling, and I can feel a nice opening in my upper back. So all these mobility exercises will help prevent any kind of stiffness and developing pain. So they will prevent all this. Then for the lower body, it is important that one can do some stretches. One can do a stretch on the chair. Now this should be done with the help of a chair. So it is important that I stand with my back supported against a wall or against a stable surface, and then I keep my leg supported and stretch. So I can show you from the side view. My back should be supported behind. I keep my leg 90 degree and slowly I slide my heel. So I can get a nice stretch in my hamstring muscles. Again, I need to hold this for 20 to 30 seconds. In order to increase the stretch, I can even bend down and I can feel a nice stretch. Make sure the toes are pointed upwards. Okay, another stretch is for the calf, where I'm standing against a wall. When I stand against a wall, one foot, so I can show you from the side view, 1 foot forward, 1 foot behind, holding a wall, and I just lean forward. Make sure the spine is not arching or slouching, so it should be flat back. So, and here I get a nice stretch in my calf muscles. So my hands are resting on a wall or a stable surface. Holding all these stretches for 20 to 30 seconds is very useful. A similar position of the hamstring stretch is shown in lying down, where a person is just stretching the hamstring against a wall. Now for the neck, we have something. One can do stretches, one hand under the buttocks or just holding the side of the chair, one hand your neck is rotated and bent down, and the other hand is pushing it down, applying an overpressure. I can feel a nice stretch in my neck and shoulder area, and maintain this for 20 to 30 seconds. I can change hands, turn, bend and apply overpressure. Make sure that this arm is properly supported so that the shoulder is not rising up and you get a proper stretch. So okay. The other stretch is called a doorway stretch, where one can stand against a stable surface, say a doorway, place their hand at a 90-degree position and just lean forward. So this hand is resting on a door or a wall, and then I lean forward. So I can get a nice stretch in the pectoralis muscle, so the front of the shoulder. So that's all for how you can prevent from tightnesses and aches and pains while you're working at home. So I would like to say at the end is that we have developed from apes, and let's not go back to that history. It's our evolution, but let's technology not let us go into that same ape ages. So it's time to take care of yourself, and for any queries and doubts, you can contact me at physiocounselors info@thephysiocounselors.com. Thank you.